Hey guys, Deathbyphiw here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a special video about what supports synergize best with what tanks in the game. So if you want to see a video in 10 minutes or less, stick around. Huge disclaimer here, tier lists are complete opinions, so do not get offended by anything that I say in this, and obviously different comps work in different situations depending on the team that you have, the communication and whatnot. But I'm going to reiterate that there are three different types of tanks in the game. There are poke tanks, there are brawling tanks, and then there are dive tanks. And there are also two different types of healers or quote-unquote supports in the game. There are main healers and off healers, main healers being like Moira, Baptiste, Kiriko, and Ana, and off healers being everyone else like Zen, Lifeweaver, Mercy, Lucio, etc. All right, so this is a tier list, so it's completely my opinion, and you play whoever you want to play, and don't get offended by anything in this video whatsoever. And I'm going to start off with dive tanks. All in all, Diva, Winston, Ball, and Doomfist, and I think these are the best picks on support that you should play, right? So don't play, I'm just going to start off and say, just don't play Mercy and Lifeweaver. They're not good in today's meta, and I just wouldn't play them, period. Like, they're just not that good. With dive, right, you need someone who can heal from a distance or also provide a lot of damage and enable you to dive. So right off the bat, I'm going to say Lucio is arguably one of the best supports to play. He enables you with speed to get in and out of fights. He can also do a ton of damage with you and dive with you. Another dive support is Moira. Moira is arguably not as good as Lucio, and then also some of the other supports I'll talk about, but she can go in, dive with you, do a lot of damage, play safe, and survive, and just be there with you, healing and doing damage. Another support that is really good with dive is Kiriko, and I would argue you would either have a Kiriko Lucio or a Lucio Moira, something of these three in your matchup with dive tanks. Next up on dive, I will say Ana is pretty good. She's not as good as the others because she doesn't have a lot of survivability in comparison, but she can heal from a distance. Her nano boost is really strong, and she pairs up fairly well with dive tanks. Zenyatta, he can be dove very easily like Ana, and doesn't have really much survivability, but his Discord orb and damage are paramount. You call out a target, you have a good team coordination, you Discord orb that enemy target, and you tell them to dive it. The dive tank can jump in with DPS, whatever, and just delete that target. Some average ones I would say is probably Brig. I would say she's actually pretty good. You could play Brig with like a Kiriko and help dive with the dive tanks and be up in the front doing a lot of damage and healing as well, but not as good as some of these other options. And then some other average I would say is like Illari and Bap. You could play Bap, you could play Illari, but it's not the best options. I would also maybe even argue don't even play Illari with dive, in my personal opinion. So if you're running a Sigma, you're likely running a poke comp, so I would argue you just don't play Lifeweaver. He's not that good. You could play Mercy some situations if you have a really good DPS to blue beam and damage boost them. But if you're playing poke, right, Illari does really well, but she's not as strong as some of the other options. And Bap and Zen are just the best options in this poke situation supporting a Sig. Bap's AoE healing, his ultimate, the window, is just really strong with a Sig and a Zen and a Bap just shooting behind it. Zenyatta's Discord orb and his damage is really strong, bunkering down with that Sigma. Some other supports that pair out fairly decently with poke as well with Sigma is definitely Ana, Kiri, I would even say Brig, Lucio, and Moira. These all do fairly well with Sig. Sig is a very unique tank where he's pretty much the only real strong super focused poke tank out there, whereas the others are either brawl or dive, and just a lot of different supports pair up pretty decently with Sig, but these two at the top are by far the best options with Sig. Sig just allows a lot of flexibility and options from the support perspective. So if you're playing Reinhardt, right off the bat, I'm going to say Mercy and Lifeweaver just don't fare up well with Ryan in any sort of situation. The other thing is you must always have a Lucio. You need that Lucio to do anything on that team. You also need a really strong healer on support. I think Kiriko and Lucio are the best options for Reinhardt, hands down. Some pretty good options would be like an Ana on a main healer, or even a Moira, and even a Baptiste. And I would argue that Baptiste is probably right up there with Kiriko as the best options, especially if you have the Lucio. So always have the Lucio, either have a Lucio Kiri or a Lucio Bap. I would never swap out the Lucio for anybody else. Because of that, I would say don't play Illari. I would even say don't even play Zen, but you can maybe play the Brig Lucio, but it's not a good option. You always need that Lucio. We went over to like the brawl style of tanks as well, like how Reinhardt's a brawl tank. Now we're going to talk about Zarya. And since Zarya has her own bubbles, you don't necessarily need to run a Kiriko, but Kiriko's just good all in all, so she's a pretty good matchup with Zarya. I would also argue and say that as a main healer, Baptiste is probably the best option that you have, and I would probably put her as an off healer with like a Zenyatta. So having a Bap Zen or a Bap Lucio would be my best personal choice with Zarya. Reason why I say Zen is that he can be bubbled and saved by the Zarya. I wouldn't play Lifeweaver, I wouldn't play Mercy. They're just bottom of the barrel as far as the meta goes. And then you could probably run pretty good with a Brig and even an Ana. And you could do okay with an Illari and a Moira when you're running a Zarya. So this one's gonna be fairly easy. Roadhog and Maga are very similar as far as their playstyle and their kits go, like as far as what they require from a support, like that kind of kit setup, not their actual abilities. But if you're running Roadhog Maga, always have a Kiri Ana, because if the enemy team is running Kiri Ana and they're running a Hog or a Maga, you're going to lose if you do not have the same mirror matchup on support. You can run Lucio, you can run Zen, and you could run a Bap or even Moira in these setups, but I would always run Kiri Ana. I would not play any of these heroes with the setup, and Brig would be kind of average with them, but I would definitely focus Kiri Ana, and just these are kind of options, but I would not go with it completely. I would stick with the Kiri Ana in that situation with Maga now. So next up are some other brawl tanks like Orisa, Junker Queen, and Ramattra. They have very like different kits, but I would say just like dive tanks, these three require pretty similar as far as what you need from a support. And I'm gonna argue and say that, you know, Bap is going to be your best option on support, followed by probably a Lucio to enable them and get in with the enemy team. And pretty good options, like really strong options, are Kiriko or Ana as main healers, and even Zenyatta. You're brawling, you're staying with your team, you're providing a Discord orb. I would say that Lifeweaver works kind of average with them. I wouldn't play Mercy. You can play Moira with them, and I would say Illari's average, and you can play Brig with the brawl, being in the front line doing a lot of damage. But I think Bap and Lucio are probably your best options as far as like a main healer and a secondary support goes. So that's it, and this was my opinion, and I know different things work in different situations, but you know, this is who I think is best, and this is usually what I run on one of the support roles, either in the best or pretty good. If I'm trying to obviously win the game and I'm not playing supports that are out of the meta, even though, you know, you could play them if it suits you. I mean, you enjoy Lifeweaver, you enjoy Mercy, play them. You enjoy playing Illari and different team comps, play them. Some people are just really good at the heroes that they play, and no matter what the meta is, they just continue to excel in their role in picking that hero and doing well. So as I always say, if you like this video, please drop a like, drop a comment in the comment section below, share this with a friend, and most of all, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It makes me motivated to continue making videos like this. And yeah, I always make videos like this. I do funny shorts on my page of different memes in Overwatch. You'll find them quite hilarious. I agree. I think you would, honestly. And yeah, I mean, I'm putting out educational content videos whether you like them or not. So hit that sub button or drop a like or a comment. It means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. And as I always say, happy gaming.